Hi, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam, and today I will be unboxing, unwrapping, taking a look at the Pathfinder flip mat, bigger Caverns, which is basically like the flip mats that I've unboxed so many times before, but bigger. I recently got a bigger table, which this should fit on. Now, I will say, as far as showing it off here, I'm not exactly sure. Like, I already have a bit of trouble turning them around as it is. So there may be a little bit of awkwardness with how I have to turn it and stuff to show it off. But work with me. We'll figure it out. I'll let you see it. But yeah, so we got whatever. Bigger Caverns, double-sided, hence the flip part. And this is sort of like an Underdark kind of idea. Okay, that's... I didn't know I was going to do that. There's a partial bit here. So... And it doesn't quite go on this other side. So it's not like, because basically it used to be, of this size, it was 3x3. So it's not like a full one bigger in either direction. The long ways, it's almost a full, and the short ways, it's only a little bit bigger there. Which kind of feels like it's going to create extra creases for limited benefit. It does feel bigger. Yeah, let's just start with... Okay, so here's... Well, actually, let's start by... kind of having it peek out from behind. You can't even see the top of this one. But yeah, so that kind of lets you see how much bigger compared to a normal one. Yeah, just trying to give an idea of the full thing here, and then we'll zoom in and... Where should we start? Start down here, because here's one of the entrances. And there are like cavern, the same sort of Underdark cavern like entrances, either from other flip mats or from tiles, etc. And this definitely has that same feel. You can kind of see both the coloring of the caverns and these little, blue and yellow glowing mushroom bits. Anyways, you enter in here. There's a room that splits off with a little pool. Defensible little closed-off area, as long as nothing's lurking in the pool. Make camp if needed. A room here that has two entrances. Some of them could be further on. Compared to some of the Underdark area, this area doesn't have all that much mushroom bits, so could be something noticeable with that. This enters from two different areas, but right here is, a good cutoff point to, defend a enclosed room again. And so you kind of got this area with this cliff edge. So basically you have stairs, rocks, etc. leading up to this upper area that has some, you can kind of tell, some darker areas here. So... actual columns that go all the way to the ceiling, but most of this is basically an area where you're looking over the area below. So, advantage on attacking and such. Anything there. Otherwise, there's an area, just try and turn this giant thing. A room back here that carries on. See if I can zoom out any further. A little bit. A little further. Yeah, you got this sort of area here. Bend it across some of the folds. Anyways, from this lower portion, which does have fungus around... The fungus... These glowy mushrooms are only around the water, I'm noticing. Okay, that makes sense. So, you got a little area with a pool here. You got an area that goes back behind here to another pool on the other side of the wall of this one, so maybe there's like a passage through. Anyways, back in here, sort of a room, more mushrooms, more water, more columns. Sort of another way that all cuts off of this big room that has the cliff side in it, if you remember. Another way up on the other side of that cliff face, and turning everything upside down to disorient us all. Going again from this sort of little room with the mushrooms, it connects down here, and there are just a few little small rooms back here. We can lead up through a couple of rooms here. This is that back room that entered behind the cliff. It enters from behind the cliff here. Enters from over in this area. They all coalesce in this little room, and another exit off of the map. So there's one in and one out of the map, unless there's anything hidden in the water. A big room in the middle that has this whole cliff thing. So that could be some sort of epic battle of trying to fight your way up, or maybe sneak your way around. Various little corners and such to hide and do all that kind of thing in. So, yeah. And definitely bigger. Notably bigger, especially as I'm trying to turn it around to show it off. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, so that's one of the sides. And then for the other side, try and show off overall here to the best of my ability. But then we'll come back down and I'll actually get to look at it. Ooh! This side is pretty. Sure, this is as good a spot as any. There's an entrance here. I do like to kind of start. Really, there's two entrances here. There's the cave entrance. Technically, you could enter in on the water if you're, because there is an underground waterfall going through here. Anyways, and so there's sort of an edge up from the water to get onto shore here. And there's mushroomy bits, both the glowing ones and the normal sort of brownish mushrooms. Middle of stairs, and you get to Room of Beauty. Pretty room, very pretty room. All right, so there's crystal. There's like a crystal along the water. There is a path to the water between the crystal, and there's sort of a little, maze throughout it. You can kind of tell. But yeah, wow. There's just a giant room of crystal, all sorts of different colors of crystal. So that could be like all sorts of weird magic-y bits or whatever you want to do with it. This could be the reason a party is delving into whatever this environment is to, harness whatever is needed from this area. This could be the goal for whatever this feels like this could suffice. If you want a treasure room that's not just a bunch of gold coin, this could be it. This is a very pretty room. Anyways, so that could enter from the river, but also on this side there's another little room here with just some mushrooms and stairs leading down. You take your stairs down. You can go two ways. Down one way, you get just a little bit of clusters of crystal here, enough to tell the players they're getting close, especially if maybe you do Fog of War and hide this area. Maybe the players come from the other way and they find this first, and so they know they're close to their goal, but then when you actually, or maybe they think, oh, we found the crystal, but they explore a little further and realize how much there really is. Yeah. Anyways, a little room here. This could be big enough to, combat room. Column in the middle, that could be nice here. Two entrances, leads back over to this river that cuts the map in half. But another way to get to it is going down the stairs this way. There is the other land entrance onto the map. A little room with a bunch of normal mushrooms. Room right here. A pool of water and dark little alley of stairs that go up into this mushroom-infested room. Again, all small mushrooms, but still. Over here, you got more stairs that lead down to, like, sort of the shore where the water starts to... Basically, the river goes, it's got lines, it's moving, and this is sort of the pool that it all seems to be going to. Almost looks like there's a bit of a waterfall right here. So yeah, you can kind of go down to that, and that's a little closed-off pool that leads off of the map, so who knows what's there. The Snurf Nablin city, perhaps, or the Illithid lair. Who knows what's beyond the pool at the end of the river. But otherwise, there's stairs leading up to this little stone, but totally not natural bridge. That does not look like... I mean, you could say natural, but I mean, that does not look like a natural bridge in here. So, interesting. And you can kind of get away with the idea maybe they just barely see a little bit of crystal, but not enough to really see what's going on, because they can see a little bit here, but they probably wouldn't be able to see. The room is full of them. Their vision's sort of cut off there. Oh, there's some crystal on the edge of the water there. So maybe enough to entice them, but to go further. But otherwise, over the bridge, more little bitty crystal clusters. I mean, really, the bridge could be like a choke point for a battle as well. Further rooms, let's go up. No, let's go down. So from this room, kind of go down. Sort of U-shaped room. Either whether area to rest or where area to have encounter. Definitely, it's all sort of the idea of they give you rooms of interesting shapes, and it's up to you to figure out how you're going to use them. Because, well, it's all well and good just to have your players walk through here. Really, if you're using a battle map, you're probably doing some combats on it. And the idea is having interesting shapes like this allows for people to sneak out from behind a corner and do all that kind of thing. So that's a lot of the use with it. Another little room here with a pool. From this original room with the bridge up to here. Kind of goes back into nothingness, but some crystals here and another room with a pool. They both join here. To get back to this little room with mushrooms and toadstools and all that kind of thing. Again, nothing as fancy as the beautiful crystal room, but I'm going to try and show some of that off, because I did just think that was so pretty. Yeah, so definitely a bigger cavern than the Twisted Cavern before. A little unruly to show off here, but with the nice new table, it fits just fine. So it won't actually be a problem for play. Although at this point, because knowing basically, I can tell. Okay, so from here on and this little bit on would not be there on the normal size format. So it is definitely a noticeable size difference. Particularly the lengthwise is the biggest difference. Personally, I almost would have rather him do just a little bit further to make it an even page and cut off this strip on the end, because this feels more like, is it worth the extra fold for this? And you can get a little, they could have gotten just a tiny bit more this way without doing a fold, or maybe done, instead of any of these, done a full extra page this way, so it got both directions almost, they could have done it different ways. The fact that there are non-full page folds are kind of weird to me. in general, I haven't had a huge amount of problem. It does, in play, the foot mats, they have a little bit of, they stick up a little bit on some of the edges. But even with the lightweight Pathfinder pawns, they'll balance on the edge. Heavier minis will almost push it down. It's not really ever been a problem. So, but it does kind of hook up at each of the folds. You see them in play, but it doesn't really distract too much. And this obviously, the bigger foot mat does add more folds. So that is just a thing to be aware of. So yeah, you got your side with the river and the crystals and really fancy side. That was really cool. And this one, the other side is more of a normal cavern kind of area, with the main feature being the big center room that has the two levels with that sort of elevation difference for what could be a really cool combat. Whether it's, players have the high ground or the enemies do. Either way, totally different, concept with the battle, but still interesting combat, a way to just vary things up a little bit. Yeah, so if you, like I'm planning to do soon, are going to be running some sort of Underdark, Cavernous, whatever game, and want to have the map to make it easier on yourself, not having to draw out a map for your players, I'll link down below where you can find this, or you could check out your friendly local gaming store to pick it up. Thank you for watching me, and see you next time. Bye.